Calum, Kennedy, and Bridget fight to stay in the game. And fight is an understatement as they were swinging punches. Now on Big Brother Cheesecake 7 Chocolate Heaven. Hello, I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake 7 Chocolate Heaven. It's day 49 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house, and this week Brooke is the head of household. She nominated Calum and Kennedy for eviction, and Willy Wonka nominated Jenna as the third nominee. But Brooke also won the Golden Power Veto in the Big Brother Beer Pong Golden Power Veto competition, chose to use it to save Jenna, and named Bridget as the replacement nominee, which means tomorrow either Calum, Kennedy, or Bridget will be evicted and become the first member of the jury. Who will be? You'll find out tomorrow. And what will their plea speeches be? We'll find out shortly. But first, wow, the last 24 hours have been crazy. Normally, the Tuesday episodes are the hardest for me to film because I just have nothing to talk about because the veto ceremony has happened the day before Monday and the voting is taking place Tuesday. And so the final pleas generally are not that exciting. So typically Tuesdays are the least exciting day of the week for Cheesecake, and not this week. I purposely took the time to plan out Joanne's recipe, to plan out the special Lindor sampler when the new maple and raspberry Lindors came out, and then I got a whole bunch of content without even having to ask or try. So where do I begin? First, I'm going to start off by saying that the house guests were given 10 touchy subjects that they had to answer. They could not answer any person more than 3 times, thanks to Steven for hacking that last year, and they could not answer themselves. And this will be used in a future competition. House guests, a reminder, you are never allowed to discuss your touchy subjects answers with anybody, including alumni, and I'm going to get to that in a second. So the questions were, who is the most attractive? Who is the smartest? Who would you most want to go clubbing with? Whose wedding would be the best, I think it was. Who would you want to go out on the Amazing Race with? Who thinks they're running the game? Who is actually running the game? Who is a comp beast? Who's the hero of the season? And who is the villain of the season? And definitely some interesting answers. Definitely there were some clear majorities and others where it wasn't so clear. But that's always interesting. Okay, because Bridget was backdoored by Brooke, she cannot play in next week's Head of Household or Golden Power Veto competition because if she survives, she must use the Pooh Brown Power Veto next week, week 4 of 4, to save one of the nominees after the veto ceremony, and she is the replacement nominee. So unfortunately, Bridget cannot play next week. Before I forget, because I always forget, the Head of Household next week will win the light blue Monopoly color set, which is Oriental Avenue, Vermont Avenue, and Connecticut Avenue. Because I always forget to say that every single week. 7 seasons and counting, I always forget. So Bridget can't play in the HOH. I'm going to leave Joanne's recipe and the Lindor sampler till the end. Let's get to something that I like to call the runaway jury. So I'm a big fan of John Grisham novels. And my favorite ones being A Time to Kill. If you haven't read that, it's amazing. Not a big fan of The Firm, actually. It's kind of predictable. You know, hotshot gets hired to a law firm and then just finds out it's crooked and then has to escape to save his life and to get them in jail. I think the movie was boring too. Wasn't that Tom Cruise, or I can't remember who it was? Was it Tom? I think it was Tom Cruise. I don't know. I'm not a fan of The Firm. Love The Pelican Brief. The Client is sensational. Susan Sarandon. If you have a chance to watch the movie The Client, it's just as good. The Brethren is another one. It's later. It's one of his later works, but I really like The Brethren. And Runaway Jury is also one of my top 5 John Grisham novels. So we have A Time to Kill, Pelican Brief, The Client, The Brethren, and Runaway Jury. The Runaway Jury, I'll do this real quick. It's about, there's a trial I think it's a class action lawsuit against a tobacco company who is accused of course, killing people with its cigarette products. Um, and there is sort of a snitch or an informant rather on the jury, and the defense is trying to pay off the informant to. Spoiler alert! Fast forward if you're ever going to read this novel, but it's like 30 years old. They're trying to get the informant to sway the jury to drop the case in favor of the defense. Of course, those two characters, Nicholas Easter and I forgot the name of the girl, they take the money and then they get a unanimous guilty verdict for like $50 million or something outrageous, and run away. So the point of where I'm going with this is, and the movie for that is good too. Dustin Hoffman is in it. I can't remember the other people, but that's a good movie too. And A Time to Kill's movie version is also great with Matthew McConaughey, hey, and I forgot the girl. I don't know why I can't remember any of the girls' names. But yeah, and Pelican Brief starred Julia Roberts, I believe, and that was also really good. So anyway, where I was going with this is midway through the trial, Judge Harkin, I want to say, had to sequester the jury, even though it was sort of I guess it's technically a murder case, but it was more civil than anything. There was tampering with the jury. 2 of the jurors had been kicked off and replaced with alternates, and so the judge had no choice but to sequester everybody in the jury, which means they couldn't go home and they couldn't have contact with the outside world. Now, as you're going to see in the final pleas and in the big fight that happens later on in the episode, you're going to see that at one point, Brooke asked Bridget flat out, because Bridget revealed that she was the one that nominated Brooke when she was Willy Wonka. And Brooke asked her, who told you to do it? Was it Karen? And she said, no, it was Stephen. Which, of course, goes back to the whole alumni influence thing we were talking about 3 weeks ago. Now, Stephen claims that this whole thing was this big joke and this big elaborate scheme. And I believe him, but at the same time, I do believe that there has been a little bit of alumni, especially Stephen and Karen, doing a little bit of discussion. I don't think it's been cut and dry zero. So I, of course, had a huge laundry list of Pitchfork alumni who were very pissed off, and I could probably read the alumni chat alone. It was very interesting. Kat was, of course, furious, and so was Brazil and Nicole. So because we're at a point of the game, because this is for $700, a number of people have paid $40 to play. Actually, I think everybody left has paid. So because it has a $700 prize, and because after tomorrow we're going to be down to the final 8, starting Wednesday, tomorrow, once the Head of Household competition is over, there is a new rule. I'm adding on to the rule I started in Season 4. From Season 4 onwards, the jurors were not allowed to talk to the pre-jurors or the active house guests about game. But I'm adding on to that. This season, I'm sequestering the jury, a la Runaway Jury, and they are not allowed to talk game with pre-jurors, with... actually, pre-jurors is fine, because they're in the jury and friends chat. That's okay. But they're not allowed to talk any game with active house guests, fans, or alumni. So if you are a juror, and tomorrow the first juror is going to be entering the jury house, yes, you can talk to the pre-jurors because they're there with you in the same chat. But you cannot talk any game whatsoever with active house guests and alumni. There's only 35 days left. You can survive not talking to your friends and the alumni. And you can still talk about life stuff. I'm not saying you have zero contact, but absolutely no game talk. And that's really the most I can do, because there's people who are like, you have to punish Karen and Steven, and there's like the whole Pitchfork gang going on, but there's nothing I can do. There is one thing I could have done, ironically, coming up today, but there's a tradition in Big Brother Cheesecake that is never going away, and so you're going to see what that is later. But that's the rule. If you're a juror, no talking. Third time I'm saying it, but it's got to be said a third time. No talking any game to active house guests, fans, or alumni. Okay. So, and I do think I also want to say, regardless of how much meddling Karen, Steven, or anybody else has done, I will say, I firmly believe that not a single eviction would have gone differently if Karen and Steven were not in the picture at all, or if alumni in general were not in the picture at all. I still think the game would have gone the exact same way with the exact same order. Shawnee, RJ, Ronnie, Tom, Stephanie and Cly, and Kilby. I think that would have still been the pre-jury. So at this point, I don't think the game has been influenced at all in terms of the outcome by the alumni. But yes, we are going into Final 8 and moving forward, starting tomorrow. You're going to see why in a moment. But starting tomorrow, absolutely no jury tampering. Because it is $700. That's a lot of money. And nobody's asked this, but it's $700 Canadian. You paid 40 Canadian / 30 US to play, so it is $700 Canadian. So blame Trudeau that after the conversion rate and the PayPal fee, you end up with like $8. That's not my fault, okay? Okay. Let's get to the rules. To the next head of household competition. Free from the threat of eviction, the head of household wins the perks of their private HOH bedroom bathroom. A video from home. Fruit basket with, oh boy, I forgot what the chocolate covered thingamajigger was. We'll go chocolate covered pretzels. I don't think I've done that one yet. And they're responsible in nominating 2 of their fellow house guests for eviction. Yes. The head of household competition this week is called Big Brother Winner's Choice. And here's how it works. Winner's Choice is a classic competition that I have done in every season. Curtis loves it. He always sends me messages from like when he's like doing that thing. What do you do? What's that thing you do on the lake? Not boogie boarding. Where you're holding on to the thing. Wakeboarding. And he like sends me texts while wakeboarding, being like, Andrew, hello there, it's me, Curtis from South Africa. I absolutely love the Winner's Choice competition. It's really, really a fantastic way to encourage people to win the game. So Jeffrey was the first winner in season 1, and how it works is essentially the winner of last season gets to come into the house, as Steven is already in the house, and gets to pick an HOH. Jeffrey came in season 2, he picked Chanel. She went on to win the season, the only one to do so, and then she picked JoJo the following season. He came in 3rd. Chantel won that season. She came back in season 4 and picked Lindsay. Lindsay would come in 2nd. Brazil won the season. She came back in All-Stars as a player. I know, you're complaining about this now, but think about that. She could only pick from 3 people. I think it was Dylan, Chantel, and Curtis, I believe. And she picked Curtis. So Curtis benefited from this, so that's exactly why he loves it so much. But then, who won that season? JoJo won that season. He came back last season in season 6, and he picked Karen, which was much to the chagrin of a lot of people, but that's, don't look at me. And the winner ended up being Steven. So Steven is back to pick the head of household. I obviously implore Steven to do the absolute best that he can to be unbiased. And I will say this. This is the one key thing to this competition. It's been in place since season 2. You must pitch your case to Steven as to why you should be the new head of household. And everybody is playing, by the way, except Bridget, because she has the Pooh Brown. Brooke is playing because of the Willy Wonka replacement card. You must make your pitch to Steven publicly in the group chat. If you message him privately, he has been told to eliminate you. So part of the excitement of this competition is that you get to see what everybody else's pitch is as to why they should be head of household. And you don't have to give just one pitch. You can try to one-up each other, argue back and forth, debate this, that, and the other. But this is all happening in the group chat. Absolutely no private messaging. I almost said Peter. Steven. Because he will eliminate you. Yes, I hope. I tried to tell I get it. Like, you're watching the game, you know, if you're paying close attention, there's certain people you want to see win and there's certain people you don't want to see win. But I do ask Steven to please be as unbiased as possible. He has some plans already for you, and it's already sounding like it's going to be chaotic. But yeah, he gets to choose somebody to be the new head of household. If, let's say, he picks somebody who was, like Cly, who was completely invisible and did absolutely nothing and didn't say one word, I would intervene. He has to pick somebody who puts in effort. You got to do something in the main chat to get his attention. Yeah. Okay. That's the head of household competition. My God, there's still so much to go, and we're 15 minutes in. Okay. So the final pleas. The final pleas are going to be part of this dramatic reading that I'm going to be doing. I hope it's not going to take forever, but from about 9 a.m. yesterday till like 6 p.m., the house guests were fighting. Brooke obviously blindsided the pro... Stephanie's going to be mad that I say this. Brooke blindsided the pro-Ronnie side of the house when she backdoored Bridget, and they were not happy at all. So here we go. I'll try to do this. Well, good news is Kennedy's voice is fast, so here we go. Congrats, Jenna. Remember, it's me, Calum. Although on the veto winner's part, not your own, this round is basically confirming a lot of what I already had suspicions about. But we'll cover most of that in my plea later, so stay tuned. Not sure what you needed to confirm. You asked me if you were the target, and I said yes? Oh no. There's a few other things I had my suspicions about, but I'll go into that later. Okay, are you going to try to start playing the game now that you're going? That's funny! Just like you, babe, I was biding my time, in the same way you were biding yours, but it's Gucci. Unlike Kilbs, I'm not going to blow up prematurely and risk that affecting my game further than it already has. However redundant that it may seem, so I'll end that here for now. What game? Okay, let's carry on. Okay, then Bridget pipes in at 10:22 a.m. This isn't my plea, but there's some things I think everyone should know. 1. Kilby and I had a pre-game alliance. He is production on the first game I played, and he's one of my fave people in the org community. 2. A good number of things y'all hate Kilby for, I told him to do. I told him Stephanie and Michael were after him. I told him to leak Owen and Jenna's connection before he left. We played the entire game together, so anytime you talk shit about him, you were basically talking shit about me too. I leaked the Party People Alliance, Owen, Brooke, Rayanne, Ronnie, Javier to Jenna, and thus the whole house based on a convo I had with Javier. I've been talking to Karen, Rob's goddess of Season 6, every day since before the season started. She has been coaching me somewhat, but I haven't won a single competition, so make of that what you will. Owen, Jenna, and Stephanie had it out for me ever since I expressed doubts about Michael. If you work with Michael, Owen, and Jenna, you are playing for 4th place. They always prioritize each other. Oh, also I put Brooke on the block as Wonka. Here's my plea. Some of you may think I'm playing a game. Some of you may not. I am playing a game based on multiple factors, and just because you can't work out what that is doesn't mean I'm not playing one. There are lots of things I could say here, but I'll have to keep it brief. I'm not going to campaign as such against my fellow nominees, as I adore them both, but I will say to the rest of you is, really consider who is just playing nice and who's actually willing to be loyal. A fair few people out there play for themselves and themselves only, and just letting others to get there rather than working with them. I have more to give in this game, and although I'm the obvious target, I'm open to discussions on how I can benefit your game, should you find it in your heart to save me. I deserve to be here as much as everyone else, and I'm not ready to leave at all, and I hope you can see all that. Ouch! Bridget. Nothing personal, just wanted to see what the fallout would be. It was very informative and I was glad you didn't leave then. Did Karen tell you to put me up? No, Stephen did. Really? Good to know, thank you. Well, that was very informative. Thank you, Bridget. Good to know on a personal level where I stand with them. Calum, the problem with your pie is the same thing as your problem with your pitch to me. Why you got on the block, you don't ask people to come to you. You go to them, dude, better luck next arguably. Considering you've attacked my gameplay, or lack of, in my opinion, I'm not really sure I'm going to take in that opinion, but I respect the fact that you felt you had to give it. Take my opinion or don't take my opinion. I've lasted longer in both seasons than you have in this one. Oh, pipe down. That's a bit far. I was still on the block that season a lot later than you were, babe, so take the high horse and take a step off if that's okay. Still never to be nominated by an HOH. Had to be done anonymously. You were nominated. You still saw the block, anonymous or not. Call a spade a damn spade. Been on the block once and didn't go home, more than you can say. Seriously, if you're going to start being as personal as that, respectfully, shut the fuck up and end this conversation because I haven't got time for that at all. Don't ever fucking say I'm not playing this motherfucking game. Don't try and compare our games. Don't try and say I was laying low, because I fucking worked hard at every single comp I've ever played, and meanwhile you never even showed up to half of them. I didn't say you weren't playing it. I said it was less obvious what game you were playing until recently. That's not a comparison. That's an observation that I made and I have every right to express. Up until you started being personal, and that's different. I said because I believe that about our game. I never once took it further until you decided to. And even then I tried to tell you, you went too far. Either you didn't understand that in the last message, or you were just completely ignorant to the fact that I thought it was going too far, and chose in the next message to remain personal. You call me a cow and not saying I'm being personal, because I'm stating facts that I have played a better game than you. There's ways of doing that. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you because honestly, the bullshit that is coming out of your mouth is obscene. So probably best you go and enjoy your day and I'll enjoy the rest of mine. I'm done with this conversation anyway. It's tedious and redundant. So just when you think that's over, Bridget's plea. Here's my plea. You should keep me in the game because I'm a badass bitch with a master's degree. I'm witty, I'm hilarious, and I'm thick. And I have a cat to feed. I didn't know you had a dick. Anyway, let's see here. Okay, so then we talked about Rand missed her doctor's appointment at noon. Blah, blah, blah. Owen went to Quebec, probably to eat poutine. Did you know that, like, in the Montreal, like, in the Habs games, you know, I am Jean Chrétien. Every time the Montreal Canadiens score a goal, everybody in the audience gets a poutine. I love Montreal. Anyway, let's move on to... Okay, so... Kennedy then chimes in at... Let's see what time this is at. Oh my god, it's only at 2 o'clock. Okay. We're halfway, people. We're halfway. My plea is that I really want to be here. I'm not going to make personal attacks, but some of the shit y'all have said is kind of low. I genuinely want to be here and play this game. Yeah, I slept in. Yeah, I'm shit talking most of the time, but I'm playing a different game than I've ever played before, and I want to see it through. I know there's a solid group, but I also know y'all have cracks. Late game, it comes down to numbers, not just relationships, and I really think that I can be a number. I'm not going to go into the attack because it's not my style, but I definitely think that some of you really need to open your eyes a bit. So she says, I'm not going to go into attack because it's not my style. Here's the next paragraph from Kennedy. Also, Brooke, why did you lie to me about saying you would use veto on me? And then you told me someone was targeting me, but I'm probably fine. And then you said it's okay, Bridget will save you, and then put up Bridget so she can't save me? If I'm really that useless to you as an ally, just tell me. Don't lie to me. I knew that it was going to explode after that. Because Bridget was supposed to, but then you didn't say you didn't trust her. So then I said, so don't worry, because you're not the target, because I have spoken to people and only one person has said your name, but I never told you were because I wouldn't do that. I never said I would use a veto on you. You offered me absolutely nothing. You didn't try and give me info. You didn't offer not to put me up if you want HOH next week. So I sat back and I waited as my inbox from you and Bridget were not blowing up with I want to work with you. So I figured to ensure my target goes home this week, I believe you on the block because you obviously feel comfortable enough in the house not to plead anything to me and Bridget as the poo, so she has to use it next week. This was a move that was best for my game, as I adore everyone on a personal level. I looked out for me because only me is going to be because we want to win this game. I hope you can respect my decision and not lie and drag my name in the mud. Because you're literally a pawn. Girl, you need to chill. I literally asked you a question. I'm not lying or dragging your name through the mud. I did try and message you. You were basically ignoring me. But you asked me to trust you, so I did. I didn't say I didn't trust Bridget. I said you don't know how her power works. Regardless, you fucked me with the noms. And you lied to me. You said I would use the veto on you and I never did, and I have answered every single message you have sent me. If you make it to the end, it's because your friends brought you there knowing you'll never win. Your jury management is shit. If I win veto and Bridget doesn't take you off, I will just take you off and put her up anyways. How did I fuck you, Kennedy, and you're not the target, and Bridget is got on the block next week, which means next week HOH is only to place one nom. That's less chance of you going in the block. You fucked me because you lied to me. You said you'd take me down if you didn't, that Bridget would. That made it so Bridget can't. Terrible game move. Remember how you treat all three of us. One of us is the first juror. Okay, Kennedy, sure. That's all you got? For everyone else, they get paragraphs of you attacking them. Or is it because you know I'm telling the truth? Because I'm not fucking going after you! You want to blow this shoot out of the water and you're a fucking pawn, you do you! I just see where I rank for you. Hope the rest of y'all keep me. Yeah, I'm 100% certain I'm not high ranking for you either. You were, I told you. I'm at the bottom. Kennedy, you aren't my target and never have been. I made that clear from the beginning, and I gave you a heads up you were going on the block. You just confirmed my text. You copied and pasted that you said I don't trust Bridget because I said if I won the veto, I will take you up. Yeah, we heard this part already like 80,000 times. What I am now, but before I did not think you prioritized me over anyone in this game. And then Calum chimes back in. To try and ensure I'm not staying, I'm not going home. But regardless of how the situation looks, that's very much looking your way of saying you were making a move to write me out before this even started. You came to me and told me that you put me on the block because you felt I would beat you at the end. You've honestly just proved to me in this round that you were saying that to keep me sweet. And then like this, like I know I said I was open to suggestions on working with you, but I never said I definitely would. But like, after seeing the shade and the moves you've thrown out to multiple nominees, whilst it isn't a reflection on your out-of-game character, it just shows a huge amount of the type of game player you are, to be honest, so Kenny has a fair few points here. Why is this not scrolling? You said I'm not a free agent, but I'd be willing to work something out with you. What the fuck else does that mean? All three of you want to gang up on me because I made a fucking move. We're upset because you didn't make a move for yourself. You spread yourself too thin. I did what I think is best for my game. Clearly that can't be respected because your feelings are fucking hurt. Because it resulted in you guys on the block. Begging us to be okay with you discarding us. None of you have made yourself clear you wanted to work with me. My feelings aren't hurt, babe. Or that I was a priority at all. The hell, I won't defend myself in game move, all three of you. Brooke, please calm down. I'm just stating facts. Insulting my game, calling me a liar, going off on me for no fucking reason. I made a fucking move. End of story. You're actively escalating, getting aggressive. We're commenting on game things, not personal things. Please calm down. So when I was messaging nicely, barely saying anything, oh, I get it, that's it. Now I'm being told to fucking calm down. Make up your mind who you want, Kennedy, then leave me the fuck alone. Brooke, you will never win this game if you treat people like this. Learn to control yourself. I'm not attacking you. I just told you how my power works. Please tell me where I attacked you so I can atone, because that's not something I'm interested in doing at all. I know I can be passive-aggressive, I need to work on that, but I'm not trying to attract you anymore. You made a move. It's been criticized in the same way you've done the same when we tried to defend ourselves, so please, if you're going to make a move, expect the backlash. Okay. Wow. That was probably, I don't know if it was the biggest fight of all time, but I think Vaccine Gate was the biggest fight of all time. But it was the longest fight of all time. And that started at 9 a.m. and went till... Did I get rid of it? It went till 3. Okay, so 6 hours. That's a long time. Woof. Okay. I probably should put this off to the next episode because I'm almost half an hour in. But I have all the ingredients out. Joanne, make your recipe quickly, and then we have to do the Lindor sampler. I'm never planning additional things on a Tuesday again. Okay, Joanne is here for a special recipe. I'm Joanne. What's all the hubbub? What are you all fighting about? Is it because Charlene's a bitch for not getting the vaccine? Anyway, I'm going to make a morning glory trail mix. First up, Cool Whip. Kat loves Cool Whip. When I go to Calgary in November, she's gonna have Cool Whip for me because she says it's exactly the same as whipping cream. Put the Cool Whip in a bowl, or put some of it in. I love the Cool Whip. Look at that Cool Whip. Okay. That's enough Cool Whip for me. Then, I love it. Milano orange chocolate. What you do is you scrunch it all up using your boobs. You shake it, put your boobs. Yeah. And then you just delicately sprinkle some onto your trail mix. Morning glory. Here it goes. Oh, no. Okay. Then, remember, olives are optional. You fuckers didn't want olives. Anyway, next up, Special K fruit and yogurt with more yogurty clusters. Okay. What you do is you take a handful of this. And you smash it in your hand. And you add it to the Morning Glory trail mix. Are you paying attention, Rhonda? Okay. And finally, the pièce de résistance. The best thing ever. I'm not gonna call it per million company. That's bullshit. We all know that it's Aunt Janelle syrup. Get the butter flavor, otherwise you're stupid. Aunt Janelle. Buy it at a supermarket near you. I love Aunt Janelle syrup. That's yummy. Okay. Now tip Janelle's boobs over. Yay! Your trail mix. Yummy, 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 yummy. And then the pièce de résistance. Oh, first you have to mix it. Remember to mix all the trail mix together. Morning Glory trail mix. It's like cereal, only it'll give you diabetes. The pièce de résistance, a maple lindor. Then, here we go. Is everybody ready? I'm gonna try it. You gotta get a bite with all the layers. I wanted olives in, but you didn't want olives. It reminds me of Friends when, what's-her-face made the half shepherd's pie, half thingamajig. Okay, here it is. That's good. I would maybe add some more Janelle. Anyway. There, another one of my classic recipes. And it's very summery. It's very, you wake up on a hot day, Rhonda, when you're too hot. You just make your little morning glory trail mix. Okay. Thank you, Joanne. Just change the channel. Just change the freaking channel at this point. Okay, Lindor Sampler. The first person to message was Owen. He picked maple, and it's somewhere at the bottom of that schlop, so I'm not going to eat that one. And Michael picked raspberry. So, here we go. Special Lindor Sampler. So like I said, the maple one is gone, so I'm going to eat the raspberry one. They were both good. Owen picked maple. Michael picked raspberry. Oh, that's so good. Oh, God. Oh. They used to have a raspberry flavor. They got rid of it. I'm so happy it's back. Oh, yeah. Oh. Fuck yes. Okay, so, they were both good. The raspberry one was a bit better, but they were both good. What I'm going to do, a reminder that Owen picked maple, Michael picked raspberry. Okay? Owen, this is you. Michael, this is you. Here we go! And... wait, should I do it? No, it's boring. Let's do it this way. Okay, ready? Here we go! Which means... Owen, I'm sorry. You lose your vote with maple. And Michael, congratulations. You have 2 eviction votes. You do not have to necessarily vote for the same person. Last but not least, voting is now open and will close at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight to evict Calum, Kennedy, or Bridget. Regular voting rules apply. And you must message Steven. I don't know. He's probably killing you all at this point. Okay. With that said, Calum, Kennedy, or Bridget, who will be evicted and become the first member of the jury? Find out tomorrow, and who will Steven choose to rise to power and become the new head of household? I'm Andrew Chefs Moonvest. Take care, and remember, if you don't think peanut butter is the best flavor of M&Ms, consider a neurosurgeon for a brain lobotomy. Good night.